Blueboo may not be the first manufacturer name you think of when it comes to choosing a smartphone, but I came across the Maya model. It costs less than $75 US, it has an HD display and more. This is Linus, find out if this cheap phone is any good in the full review. The phone ships with just a charger, USB cable and some paperwork. The Blueboo Maya is kind of a nice phone for such a low price. We have a metal trim that goes around the device along with nice and tactile metal buttons. Well, the textured back cover gives a little plastic feel of the device, but overall the phone is well built. We have a 5.5 inches 720p display, which is sharp enough for the daily use, but it is very reflective outdoors due to the pre-installed screen protector. Also, it has a somewhat bluish tint and cold-looking colors. The capacitive buttons are not backlit and I don't like the position of them. I always prefer the back button on the right side of the device. The LED light is a nice touch for such a cheap phone. As far as camera goes, we have a 13 megapixel shooter on the back. You can easily remove a backplate and underneath it you can find two SIM card slots, the microSD card slot and a removable 3000 mAh battery. The loudspeakers usually suck on cheap phones and the one found on this phone is no exception. Well, it is pretty good for the price, but you should not expect any miracles. The phone ships with a quad-core MediaTek 6580 chip with a clock speeds of 1.3 GHz, 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of expandable storage. These are pretty low-end specs and thus the 3D gaming performance is not so impressive. You should expect some stutter even on medium graphics when playing Asphalt 8. I always prefer stock Android, especially on the cheap phones like this, but the Blueboo Maya ships with their own skin on top of Android 6.0. For some reason, they removed the app tree. A great thing is that there are no bloatware apps and the phone is pretty fast on the daily basis. When it comes to the image quality, you should never expect something spectacular from any cheap phone. Surprisingly, the Blueboo Maya can take some decent looking images. Even the low-light camera performance is slightly better than on similarly priced phones. The video quality is just mediocre as on most of the cheap phones. The selfies produced by 8 megapixels camera look quite noisy and the level of detail is kinda low. As for connectivity, everything is working fine except for the GPS. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to get the position lock and the GPS is not always accurate. A 3000 mAh battery performs quite well. I could easily get through the day with this phone and that translates to around 4.5 hours of screen and time on a mixed use. However, charging speeds with a supply charger are very slow. The Blueboo Maya aims to bring a lot of value to the table and it succeeds in a lot of ways. Of course, it's not perfect as the gaming performance is not so great, the GPS is slow and inaccurate, the display is reflective outdoors and the phone is kind of slow to charge. Still, for just $75 US, you get a 5.5 inches phone that runs on Android 6.0, it has a decent day-to-day performance, a good battery life, and surprisingly decent camera. All in all, the Blueboo Maya may not be your next flagship phone, but it is definitely a decent offering for the price, if you are okay with the shortcomings that I just mentioned. It was Linus, thanks for watching and please let me guys know in the comments section down below what you think about this phone. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and follow TechLineHD on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. See you in the next video soon.